My last response to the debate concerns the history of Christianity. Of course, during the debate they couldn't cover everything. So my point is this. The Jewish people believed that one day the Messiah would return. The Messiah, the priest king, a man appointed by God to lead the Jews to victory against their enemies, which at that time would have been the Romans, throwing off Roman oppression. Now over time there were a number of people who believed they were the Messiah, and they all had followers. Jesus wasn't even the most successful of these. Probably the most successful potential Messiah, who lived some 50 to 100 years after Jesus, during the reign of the Emperor Claudius, was King Herod Antipas, who had become tremendously powerful. The Jewish people loved him, they all knew him. He had gained the allegiance of all the surrounding kingdoms and was quite openly plotting rebellion. What happened to Herod was he was holding a huge rally in Jerusalem and accepting the fealty of all the surrounding kingdoms. Many of these kings, probably all of them, had agreed to convert to Judaism and had accepted Herod as their high king. At the very moment when he could have given the order to take arms and prepare to fight the Romans, Herod was suddenly taken ill and died horribly a number of days later. The most likely explanation is that this is not just a coincidence, but that he was poisoned by the Romans, had his food poisoned, or by some other method. History records that his body was eaten away by maggots. So it does seem like that his food was doctored. This man was much more successful than Jesus. The Romans executed Jesus because not only did he think he was the Messiah, he didn't have any real power. He wasn't like Herod from a royal family. He had only a small band of followers at that time. And he was in Jerusalem trying to cause trouble, turning over tables in the temple, trying to get the people to rebel against the system the priests had set up, who most likely had an understanding with the Roman governors to keep peace at such a time, which was during the feast of the Passover, when people came into Jerusalem from the surrounding countryside and the population swelled about 10 times. This always made the Romans nervous, because the people would all attend their mosques, where they would be told that a Messiah would come to free them from oppression, and that they would be able to throw off the Roman oppressors. So although it was a time of festival, it was also a time of unrest in the city. And Jesus was executed because he was a rebel, stirring up trouble at this particular time when the Romans were out watching for troublemakers. So Jesus was never a terribly successful Messiah. So why did he become the Jesus that we know today? Worldwide faith. Why not Herod Antipas? Well, the thing is, Herod Antipas does remain a major figure to the Jewish people today, but it was Christianity that was adopted by a Roman emperor and thereby spread to the Roman world. It was the Emperor Constantine who, by chance and for completely superstitious reasons, decided that he would adopt Christianity as his religion, just as he was about to invade Rome himself. Aside from this, we could look at the history of the texts of the Bible themselves, how that they were not written down until at least 100 years after the death of Jesus, and probably not even by the people who knew him. We could look at the Gospel of Paul, who is largely responsible for modern Christianity. Paul is a curious figure. He was a Romanized Jew. He never actually met Jesus. The Bible shows that he argued with the established Christian church as it then was in its early days, trying to impose his set of views on people who were part of a church that originated with the people who actually did know Jesus. So it is a historical oddity that Paul's strange view of Jesus came to dominate. If you look at it, the very idea of Jesus' conception, as it is written in the Bible, is so typical of Roman religions. Of course, naturally, Paul being a Roman citizen, a Romanized Jew, he had those ideas, and he wanted to make Christianity acceptable to the Romans, and so it continued until the time of Constantine, who then popularized it. And there are many other issues concerning the scriptures, not only at the time that they were written, but the fact that originally there were 60 or so Gospels. What happened to them? Well, it's quite simple. Because they all had their different views of Jesus, Constantine wanted to impose an orthodoxy on the church. So he made them all attend a council and forced them to agree on a common theme for Christianity. After that time, all other Gospels were technically considered heretical and hunted down and destroyed, and everyone made to follow the new established Christianity. So how do Kirk Cameron and Ray Comfort respond to this?